Hiya guys, Crazy Teacher Nick coming at you on the eve of your paper 2. Okay, so tomorrow some of you might just be writing in a few hours depending on where in the world you are. Okay, so hopefully this will be able to help you just before you go into your exams. So the very first thing you guys need to keep in mind is before you start your questions 2, 3, or 4, okay, do not spend more than 60 minutes, okay, on your question 1A and 1B. Okay, so you're going to have basically 6 possibilities, but really it's kind of like 3. So it could be narratives or descriptives, and it's in no specific order on your paper, so make sure you read your question. Okay, it could be review and critical response, or discursive and argumentative. Okay, so those are the possibilities of the text you're going to get. I'm going to try and run through some of the things you need to keep in mind. A narrative and descriptive writing you did at your GCSE level, okay, in your paper 2 in your GCSEs, so make sure you remember everything you learned from your narrative and descriptive writing in your GCSEs, and of course everything that has enhanced your narrative and descriptive writing at AS level. Okay, let your key conventions for narratives guide you. Okay, examiners are going to have their eyes out for characterization. How have you developed your characterization, your characters in your text? Try not to have more than 2, at the most 3 characters. Remember, every time you introduce a new character, okay, which is a structural device, okay, you need to develop that character. Give them a name, give them some sort of a life. You can do that through your dialogue as well. That's going to help develop your characterization. Again, please, when it comes to dialogue, okay, don't fill your text with dialogue. Dialogue slows down the pace of your text, okay? And you must use that dialogue either to basically show who the character is or what they think about the other characters, okay? It must have purpose. The dialogue can also be used to move the story forward, okay? Make sure you've got a strong plot. Make sure your plot is planned out right from the beginning. Know where you end so that you know where to start. All too often, students start the plot. Okay, remember you've got up to 900 words, and I've seen students go 400 words, 500 words, developing the setting, developing the characters. Then all of a sudden they got inciting incident, climax, and then they start running out of time. So all of a sudden the text comes to this grinding halt. Okay, balance in your plot. Use lots of descriptive language devices throughout. You cannot use enough descriptive language devices. Okay, use lots of figurative language. Okay, those sensory details. Okay, and of course your punctuation. Sensory details: sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. This is all stuff that you guys know. And punctuation. They are looking for punctuation. Descriptive writing, again, follow your key conventions. Let them be your guide. Okay, you don't have to develop characters, and you definitely do not want to be using dialogue within your descriptive writing. Okay, in your descriptive writing, you want to use images. You know your techniques from your GCSE level. Okay, your 3 or 4 techniques that you have. Okay, if you look up Mr. Sales, if you look up IGCSE success, to give you some great ideas on what style of descriptive writing you might want to use. Okay, lots of strong adjectives. Remember, it's descriptive writing. Use those descriptive language devices. Use the figurative language. Okay, use your sensory details and your punctuation. And the one thing that you've got to remember with both of these, okay, is structural devices. Your text must contain clear structural devices. So shifts in focus, shifts in tone. Okay, think about your paragraph sizes, your sentence sizes. Okay, Beware of run-on sentences. Okay, it's a common mistake with students still even at this level. Okay, so it's the one thing that's not on the screen is those structural devices. But if we look at how the examiners are marking us, so they tell us sophisticated expression. A lot of that's got to do with your voice. Remember, your voice is created by your vocabulary, which then leads us to wide range of language. Be careful that you're not repeating ideas. Okay, make sure you're using developed language. This is where your planning comes in hand. Okay, complex structures. So again, that's your structural devices. Think very carefully about those. And then less common lexis. And basically, less common lexis is basically, and it's not your entire text. 3, maybe 4 really interesting words that are used correctly. If you don't use them correctly, okay, it will pull your mark down. So make sure that if you are using an interesting word, or as some people might say, a big word, sadly, okay, that less common lexis, make sure that you're using it correctly. High level of accuracy, spelling, punctuation, grammar. Okay, the text is logically and very effectively organized, guys. Okay, this is about your planning. Make sure that you know how each paragraph is going to start, how each paragraph leads on to the next paragraph. Okay, make sure your ideas are developed throughout. So you've got interesting ideas throughout, okay, and that they're cleverly written. Read your question, read your question, read your question. Keep watching your question, making sure that you are staying on task. When you're getting to that 700, 800 words, it's very easy. If you're not watching your plan, you're not reading the question, that you go off task. So make sure the information you use is relevant to the question. And for a lot of examiners, audience is where they go to basically start evaluating where your level is. How engaged is your reader? And if I look at a piece of narrative and I'm reading it and I'm loving it, then I feel fully engaged. And the nice thing is, if your examiner is engaged in your interesting writing, they might overlook 1 or 2 mistakes within the text, which is to your benefit. So when you are writing anything, you're always thinking about your audience. Moving on. Reviews and critical response. Pretty similar. Not much differences between these two. Okay. Follow your key conventions. Let them be your guide. Use that evaluative language. Okay. Use structural devices. Use language devices. In some of these reviews, you might have to use some persuasive language, okay, or be advisory. So, giving information that advises people what to do when they get to that location. So you may look out for those keywords and those questions that might imply that you might have to use some persuasive language devices. But rhetorical questions, they're going to fit into pretty much every single text. They're great for engaging with your reader in a very interesting way. Remember your key facts, okay? So the who, what, when, how much, and where. And again, that punctuation. And all of this builds upon what the examiners are looking for, that sophisticated expression, that wide range of language, complex structural devices, some less common lexis, your high level of SPAG, okay, that your ideas are logically placed within your text, it's well organized, use those bullet points, use those subheadings, okay, and those ideas are developed out in a clever, sophisticated way. Keep your eye on the task, keep your eye on your plan, make sure that you're achieving the task, okay. Again, you're like in question 1, you're asking yourself, have I met the requirements of the question? The only difference is in questions 2, 3, or 4, you don't have to tell the examiner what you did. You have been bold and you have filled the text with those devices, and you're hoping that the examiner is going to see all of them. So Be very, very bold and obviously very engaging. The last possibility could be discursive or argumentative language. Okay, I have got videos on discursive writing and argumentative writing. Follow your key conventions in discursive writing. Remember to keep it balanced. Okay, discursive is not personal, although you may give a final paragraph which could be personal. Again, I've got a video on this. Lots of language devices, lots of structural devices. Okay, use that punctuation for effect. Okay, and in discursive writing, you're discussing both sides equally. In argumentative writing, again, the conventions are pretty much the same. Remember, you are balanced. You are never angry. You're never upset. Okay, you may be more personal. So that's where argumentative is different to discursive. Discursive is not personal, but you may have a final paragraph where you give your perspective or point of view. In argumentative, you might have your own opinions to be more persuasive. Use those persuasive language devices. They're going to help you. Use interesting, clever structural devices. Again, remember, you want to structure it, bullet points, subheadings to influence your reader. Good punctuation. Now, where discursive writing is discussing both sides equally, argumentative writing discusses both sides equally, but you will use counter argument. Okay. Again, there are videos on my channel about argumentative writing and discursive writing with their key conventions. Go check them out. Okay. Again, I don't need to say it. You guys can read through it yourselves. Okay. Sophisticated voice, wide range of language, some complex structural devices, less common lexis. Okay. Good spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Ideas are logically and effectively organized. Okay. The ideas are developed throughout. It doesn't drift towards the end. Okay. That's bad planning. Make sure you keep your eye on the task and your planning, and make sure that you are keeping your audience engaged. Okay. Top tips. Guys, read the question very carefully. Remember, your examiner is going to be reading up to 600, 800 of these questions. Okay, what are you going to do that's going to make your text interesting? When you've read the same narrative over and over and over again, when a student comes up with a unique way of writing, it just lifts the spirits of you as an examiner, and that will help lift your marks. So be interesting. Think differently. Okay, be specific. I'm going to drop a brilliant video by Teacher Adna, okay, about being specific. Watch your spelling, your punctuation, and your grammar, okay, and have fun. I'm telling you now, if the examiner can see that you're enjoying what you're doing, when you're writing your text, we can see it in your sentence structures, in your vocabulary, in how you're expressing your thoughts and your ideas, okay? If you're having fun, the examiner is going to be happier. Happy examiners give higher marks. Okay. Guys, good luck tomorrow, okay, or today if it's that part of the world, okay. I want you guys to be amazing, okay, and I want to say thank you very, very much. You know, the reason I have this channel is to try and help as many people as I can. That's the whole idea behind this. I want to just basically share some of my experience with people around the world, you know, who might just need that little bit of extra stuff. Some of the students, especially homeschoolers, you might be studying by your own. Hopefully this will help you. Okay, I got this on my timeline today, 75,000 views. Okay, guys, 75,000 views means that this is hopefully helping somebody. And then, of course, this weekend, your exams or your English exams will be over. So you'll have a little bit of time, okay? So England time, 4 o'clock, okay? You can check out AFC Wimbledon playing at home at Plough Lane, okay, against Port Vale. Yeah, we're only League Two, but I'm very proud of my team, and I would love it if you guys gave them a little bit of love and support. Okay, check out their channels, check out their games. That would be absolutely brilliant. Okay. All that's left to say is rock on.